Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor for a March 7th NXT review of the Roadblock premium event, we will say. And they start off with Tiffany Stratton kind of doing a recap. So there again, I guess, since the split up of Toxic and the one that has had to leave the company, they've replaced her with another person, not quite as talented, of course, but has the look and has the ability to be that kind of a person. But anyway, Tiffany does a whole recap of Roadblock and highlights it with Roxanne and Mako. And then they go into the match. They go into Tony D, of course, with Stacks and versus Dijak and with his hardline Justice. And it's a cell. You've got to put the person in the cell and lock the door behind them. And the match is okay. Tony D is good. Dijak's getting there quickly. But there were some misses on a chair shot and, just some things that just wasn't as flattering as I thought these two guys could pull off. They did do a good job. I'm not going to rain on this match. And Tony D does win it after he takes a crowbar to Dijak and wears that butt out and puts him in there. And I believe he had more chances to try to put Dijak in. But anyway, Tony D wins that one. Pretty good match. Then they go into a Roxanne Perez promo. Okay, it's a promo. And then they go to Kiana James. She's talking to Josh, about Brooks and trying to help Jensen out there and, trying to be a wingman of sorts. This is okay. It's okay. I'm sure younger audiences like this, and that's okay. That's good. They do go from there to the Gallus boys, and they're trying to explain, and it's kind of a little different. They've got the belts, and they want a piece of Pretty Deadly. And, of course, Pretty Deadly's got to come out, and they're up in the skybox, up in the Muffet corner, I call it, and they're going back and forth. And, I was explaining this tonight to a person that doesn't watch wrestling at all. So I was trying to give them a little update on the storyline. And I think the best way I could put it is, you see those two Irish guys, they like to drink and they hang out in a bar. You see the two other guys, that's what you call, maybe I'm wrong here, metrosexual kind of look. It is to their own. If I was a younger guy, who would say how I would dress? I was pretty landish or pretty outrageous in my day. So, and actually some of their clothes looks like some of the stuff I wore in the 70s. But it is a perfect kind of a storm. You have, the beer drinking Hellraisers against the guys that get their nails done and have petties all the time. So, but they set it up pretty much. Gallus says, they lay the belts down and say, come take them. And there's a little fight, there's a little something there, but, they go from there to Kieria or whatever the name was, little promo, and then they got Dragunov coming in. So he does a good little spot. Dragunov never disappoints. So, it's really good to listen to. But after that, you're going to have the Creed brothers with Braun taking on Indisha, with Sangha, Veer, and Jinder Mahal, the modern-day Maharaji. And this is a good match. The Creed brothers with Braun are doing freaking rock and roll express moves. They're doing some off-the-top rope moves and combinations for guys that size. They just don't do. And Braun shows me that he's definitely been training. He is, of course, who his father is, so he's been brought up in the business. But he really, all three, Butch and Julius, Brutus and Julius, looked great in their off-the-top rope moves in unison, might I add. So I mean, it was good. Now Sangha and Veer, they have some pretty good teamwork. There is a lot that could be made better, and I could see them having a feud for, with a couple people for a few months, because they need just basic getting in and out of the ring sometimes looks a little hard for them because they're so big. But they're not the first big guys, so they got to figure it out. But they will. I have a strong feeling they will. And, man, there's some a big clothesline by Sangha. Just okay, so the win, the way it was, I guess it's okay. But a little disappointed. So right now I've had the Tony D and the Dijak, where Tony D wins, and Crowbar does pretty good. He does okay, and yeah, that's okay. And this ending I expected to be a little better, but it is what it is. All right, but now we go into the Grayson Waller effect. And he's building this on up with HBK. And my version of this is they're trying to build Grayson, and they can't let him get into the spotlight with Braun. So who do? They bring in HBK. But he, has a good little promo, that good little segment with Grayson. He gets his feelings hurt, and he says some stuff, and that Grayson's blaming HBK, saying he's holding him back and everything. So you just don't know. But I do like the fact that Sean says that they tried to get me to fight so and so, and they tried to get me to fight so and so, and they even backed the Brinks truck up to my home, and the drivers, they knew my name because they were over there that much trying to offer him money. So he goes through a good little promo. I mean, Sean still got the mic ability. Of course, he just doesn't look the part anymore. And this is coming from an old guy. So don't hate on me for that. But he does still have the mic skills. So they're setting something up for their big event coming up before WrestleMania. But right towards the end, Sean lets him know that he's not going to be fighting him. He's done. He's management now. But you will be fighting dun-dun-dun-dun, Johnny Gargano. So they're bringing the man back, the wrestler, back to face Grayson Waller. So they're going to build up Grayson. I can see him jumping over pretty soon to the other side. I just said, Johnny, they're building him up good, and he is good in the ring, and I'm sure I haven't seen his best yet. And I'm almost positive of that. Well, then after that, you're going to go to the Toxic Attraction. What would we call that? The ongoing drama or ongoing saga or whatever. I mean, how would you put that? They were a good tag team. They're building it up to one of them to get a good push and the other one to see how they can survive. And that goes back to the Midnight Rockers. There's several teams that one person stood out and went their own way. So we will see if it's going to be JC Jane or Gigi Dolan, but they started this match out. Of course, Gigi's going to be the aggressor to start these things out. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Gigi just is a little slow on some of her moves, and now she's in there with somebody that can move that she's been working with, so I would think the chemistry would be a little bit better. But it is what it is. This was a pretty good match. Gigi did a great move on the end to win the match. And afterwards, JC jumps her and setting up for something else coming up for the big event. But just Gigi seemed a little slow, a little like a step behind JC Jane. So we will definitely see how that works out after this. But then you got Brooks and you got Briggs and you got Fallon. And, one spot would be sufficient, I would think, but they're coming back with a rebuttal spot, and I can go along with that. But, and I'm like I said earlier, I'm sure somebody enjoys that more than I do. Okay, we will go to Braun coming out. Braun coming out and pretty much saying, hey, let's just cut all the crap. I know who wants the next opponent, who deserves it, and who I've been watching. And so he brings Mello out, which, was kind of interesting. Mello was out during the Creed match, a little bit there. So it was a little odd, but he brings Mello out, and they do a love fest. They talk about how good each one is, stroke each other's pride, and say that they can't wait to face each other. Okay. I don't know where to go from there. Love Fest. Then they got Tyler Bate comes in there a little bit later because the next interview is Tyler trying to help Thea. So the big strong boy is helping chase you out. And he's doing the breathing exercises and everything. And old Duke Hudson, he looks kind of stunned. And once everybody kind of walks away, Duke comes over to Tyler and pretty much calls him a snake oil salesman. And so you know what this is setting up, a match between Duke and Tyler. And normally I would say that, Duke doesn't have a chance. He's bigger, he's stronger, but he doesn't have the ring experience that Tyler does. But who knows, because Duke is impressing me the more and more I see him in the ring. So I think if they took all that chase U off of him trying to do the Miami Hurricanes U, that maybe they would have something there. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But you're going to come up with Joe Gacy and Schism, 4 root 1 try, and he's facing Andre Chase. So you got Chase U out there. And, I have to say, in my humble opinion, Gacy carries this match. He lets Mr. Chase do his stomp, his Ronnie Garvin stomp, make his scene. There's some good moves. I still say that uniform that Chase is wearing peeds him some. It just looked a little Chase always looks a little odd sometimes in ring ability wise, but he does pull off great moves and does some great stuff. But then you got Thea trying to overcome the fear, and she does a little breathing exercise and goes over and confronts, on the other side and tries to get up in it. And when she does, when she confronts Schism, and says that she's, beat this fear. She is done with it. And Andre Chase is all ecstatic, and he gives her a high five, but he forgets about Joe Gacy. And Joe Gacy plants him and takes the win. Schism didn't get involved in the match. This was, pretty good, but Gacy definitely carried this match. And then they got another promo with Alba Fire and Aladon, and of course they've got a Ouija board, so they're getting a little funky, and they're setting their next opponent up. We'll just go to that one, but after that they've got Chase U and Thea and Duke all walking out, and Duke, he's had enough. He's had enough. He blows his top. So he goes on a tantrum and says that, the university is really a university of losers, and makes a strong statement there and walks off. So this is all setting up for Duke and Chase to have their big final feud, but they're involving what they can. After that, they do a Wes Lee promo, and Axiom comes out, and Wes Lee does does pretty good on the mic. I can't say, when he's got the stick in his hand, he's okay, and they do a good match, do a good talk back and forth with Axiom. Of course, Axiom's Switzerland. He's never really mad at anybody, never really, so when he does do I think a couple weeks ago they had him mad, and he did pretty good in that. So they're setting all that up, I'm guessing. But then you're going to go to the Women's Championship. That's right. Meiko Satomura versus Roxanne Perez. And how can I call this match? All right, it's a Women's Championship match. And Roxanne is the champ. 19 years old, I believe, with no speaking skills, pretty good in the ring, and she's in there against a legend in Japan. And Meiko carries this on through. Roxanne has some good, moves and has her good time in the ring, but it all goes back to the experience of the final boss. And she does a great match. She does a couple big finishing moves on Roxanne's noggin. And so after Roxanne pulls off a very, very, very weak finish, and Roxanne's getting a little bit better at selling, just not very much. So she keeps the belt, and they're holding their hands up afterwards, and Meiko's going to present her with the belt in a traditional Japanese manner, and Roxanne falls out. They bring out the stretcher. They bring out the off-duty paramedics, and they do a big deal there. They're trying to build this up, I'm guessing, and like with HBK comes out, and he has his, he's concerned, and everybody's concerned, and there's concerned looks, but come on now, still, why they didn't put the strap on somebody else, I just don't know. But it is what it is. So pretty much what we got out of this show today. You've got Grayson Waller bringing HBK back out of retirement, back in the squared circle. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And hopefully HBK has another good match in him. Waller can sell. He can pour it on. So this should be pretty good. You know, at one point in time, I believe Waller even said that HBK was jealous, you know, because he's the younger, good-looking guy coming up now. So we'll see where that goes. Gacy, they're building that up. Of course, we're getting closer and closer to maybe a split in the Chase U University, too. So who knows what we'll end up with there. And overall, you know, Wesley's deal, of course, he's always generally great with the mic. And Tony D and Dijak, are they going to let this end and let Stax and Dijak take up a little bit of that and let Tony D move on to something a little bit better? And who's to say what Pretty Deadly will end up doing? So, all right, guys, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter version than we normally do because generally I don't have anything else I can say about this. I try not to talk negative, so I talk when I can. And right now, today, in March here, they did not give me a lot to talk about. So I guess we will just just close her on up. Thanks, everyone that listens. I appreciate you for sure. And for all of us here on the WWE podcast, I want to thank everyone that does listen. All right, guys, this is Memphis Mark. And, you know, if you can, rescue. I've got one now. Anybody looking for a great Rockwaller? I'm getting her ready. And of course, spay and neuter. And guys, you know what? This is Memphis Mark, and you know what? We're just going to end this a little early. So, you know, I am out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.